On
I will not fumble a bag. Fumble a bag. Now I will not fumble a bag. Act like you know how this goes.
your hosts for the evening, Molle Dorst, Jim Beard, and Lefty the Video Jedi.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome. Welcome to another episode of Friday Night Live. The whole crew is together and we love it when it's a family affair. So Lefty's got himself a brand new squeaky clean, ever so just smells like a new car studio.
Oof.
I don't know about him, but the studio smells delightful, I'm sure. And then Molly is in hell, and I am in complete darkness.
In limbo.
So,
in limbo.
in limbo. I am in limbo.
You're in limbo.
So today we are talking camera confidence. We are trying to get you off of the sidelines and into the plays. Make sure that you are part of this ever-changing, absolutely incredible, life-altering landscape that is content creation. And so today I am so proud to say that Lefty is back. I am back. I had COVID last episode, and I am finally, I do sound like a non-COVID person, so that's fun. And Lefty looks like he's got a fresh cut.
I sure do. I synchronized my barber.
Looking carved up.
I synchronized my barber sessions with when I film YouTube videos. So I always have a fresh cut.
That actually checks out. That makes a lot of sense.
I love it.
I like your style, Lefty.
Thank you.
So, Lefty, what was the first piece of content you ever created, and why did you do it?
The first piece of content I ever created, that was, well, I got into this game as a photographer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I picked up the craft pretty quickly. Not to say that I was an expert or anything, but I picked up enough that I wanted to teach it. I wanted to just share my information and my knowledge. I think the first video I ever did, it had to do with, I think it had to do with things that I learned in the first 6 months as a photographer. And I shot it at my kitchen table with like these plants that I had behind me. And it was not pretty. It was not pretty. And I actually did
Your first video wasn't perfect?
No,
That's
no,
weird.
it was not. But I didn't care. I didn't care. I honestly, and it's funny because I came from being a photographer and I didn't even manipulate light at that stage of the game. I was just like, there's the sun's over there and I'm going to put you over there and we're just going to take a picture and that's fantastic. Let's do it one more time. And you go from that to this.
Understand.
But I didn't care. I just, I didn't care.
I love that. Let's see. My first video would have been a promo for X's and O's, which was a Muppets. I paid for on Cameo, some guy that does Muppets. And a Muppet did an introduction to the first episode of X's and O's because I was like, I'm going to pump this out there. And so it was a Muppet video. It was my very first video introducing X's and O's, which I think is pretty fitting. Considering.
That is great. Why don't you tell this story more often?
I don't know.
I don't know about this Muppet.
Because
and then my first
way
piece of content that I was in that I created was X's and O's episode 1.
Wow.
That's
true. That's brave.
Miss Molly, how about you?
I would say, I think my first piece, let's go to my YouTube channel. Visibility Hackers.
I don't even have my old YouTube channel. Otherwise, I would have shown you guys my first video.
Well, no, my first ever video.
That's exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. I'll go to that channel then. No, it was probably when I was in second or third year university, And I decided that I was sick of essays, and I was like, we have all of this technology at our fingertips. Why don't we use it? Let's bring the dialogue out into a world where people can access it instead of keeping academic discussions in the ivory tower. So I decided to do a video response instead of an essay. Oh my God, it's so bad. The video's like up my nose because it's filmed from my laptop.
Yes, it
like
is.
in my dorm room. So like horrible lighting, horrible everything. It's so grainy because it was back on like no, like pictures were like this big and we're like, it was bad. I cringed just looking at the thumbnail of it. Back before you could put your own thumbnails on YouTube. And it just picked it for you. Yeah, it was bad.
The ultimate.
But we have grown. We have all grown so beautifully from there. And that's a perfect segue because tonight.
Wait, can I share my Muppet video?
Oh my God, yes, please.
Oh, okay. I got
just real quick. I don't want to take up much time with it, obviously. Let's see here. There we go.
Oh boy.
Oh my God.
Here we go.
It's Jim.
Two contestants from marketers to entrepreneurs will battle it out to win free courses and coaching. Ooh, exciting. If that's your thing, and let's be honest, while we're all in lockdown, anything half entertaining to watch online is our new thing. Don't deny it. You cringed while you watch Tiger King 2. Join Jim Bead for the official launch of his Facebook Live game show called X's and O's, The Game Show, this Saturday from 9:30 or 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Ooh, exciting. Don't miss it. You won't regret it. And don't sue us if you do regret it because, we're not liable for that sort of thing. But we're hoping you will enjoy it because we're being paid to say it. Good luck.
And that was it.
Why the toilet paper? But that's amazing. That was. I want one. I have FOMO right now.
Yeah. But I have
And
to say that
then I did promo where I had the actual Tiger King, the larger guy in the jet ski. He was out in the middle of the water and he did a promo for it too.
Wow. That's
a
amazing.
beautiful way to create content, get attention to your stuff without being the center of attention, which is great. Fantastic. But we are here to make sure that you become the center of attention, my friends. So tonight we are talking about camera confidence. Dun, 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 dun. We didn't practice that. That's fantastic.
That's good. Yeah.
Well, maybe Jim and I did. But
It felt right.
Tonight's talk is totally about interactivity and action taking. So first off, if you are watching live, I want your discussion, comments, questions, etc. If you're getting stuck on things that we're talking about tonight, I want you to get unstuck. That's why we're here. So ask your questions. If you're watching on the replay, also put your questions down below because we're coming back and we will be responding to all of those questions. So yeah. And also, you may want to take out a pen and paper or open a notebook page on your computer so you can start taking notes because there are things I want you to think about. Because camera confidence, yes, for some people comes like naturally. You don't have to think about it. But for other people, like myself, I had to work at it a little bit. I had to figure out what looked good on camera, what was appealing, what was important, how do I address the people I'm trying to talk to. So in this presentation, we have spots that are action steps. And for those of you who want to take it to the next level, well, you just keep listening. So first off, I want you to watch very closely. I'm going to play a clip, and there's going to be 2 different presenters. I want you to just watch with your eyes, and I want you to tell me, well, I'll ask you a question, but there's speaker 1 and speaker 2. So this is guy number 1. He looks, he's having a good time. He's definitely having a good time.
Oh,
And then there's this guy.
oh boy.
This guy number 2.
You
Yeah.
can watch comedy skit.
Yeah. So my question for you is, which one of those makes you feel more connected to them? 1 or 2? Who do we want to
1.
listen to?
Definitely 1. But number
number
2, it looks like a video of me on episode 1 of X's and O's.
But that's not what we're striving to achieve, right? We don't want you worried about your sweat when you're on stage or when you're in front of the camera. We want you feeling excited and happy. We want you to feel comfortable and like you're talking to your friends, like us here, Friday Night Live.
That's it.
So part 1 of tonight is all about understanding where this camera anxiety comes from in the first place. It comes from judgment. It comes from when we tell ourselves we're not looking right. It comes from when we tell ourselves we are being too much something or not being enough of something else. It's making mistakes. Those thoughts, oh, we're going to mess up on this, that, or the other thing. It's generally having that ridiculous idea that we're not going to be perfect. Who's felt that? I sure have. Yeah, and everyone watching, you should have your hands up too. Yeah, because it's not fun. But these are the reasons where this is where our anxiety comes from, is those stupid stories we tell ourselves and those absolute lies that we tell ourselves. Yeah, okay, people might judge us, but is that important? No, because the people who will judge us that are important are our customers, and they're the ones who are waiting for you to speak up and share your message. That judgment is in fact something that we are striving for, something we are looking for. That judgment is a sign of people who are not our target audience moving away from us, and the people who we are trying to attract will make the decision, will judge that we are in fact the right solution for them. I want you to think of each and every one of these not as an obstacle, but as an invitation, because these are where our anxieties come, and we want to push those out of the way. So here's your action step. I want you to think about your personal fears and past experiences that have set you up for that mindset. And so I ask you guys, Jim, what were your past experiences or fears or whatnot that has put this idea in your head that you shouldn't have started, that made you wait to create your first video?
Not successful enough was a big one for me. Hadn't made enough, wasn't known enough, which is insane to even think about because one leads to the other.
Exactly.
But that I wasn't known enough. You know, people need to know you before they care about your show. That I was too fat, that I was too ugly, that I wasn't handsome enough or whatever it may be, that my voice wasn't a voice that was suitable for this, that my family members would see it and they would judge me and think, what are you doing with this stupid little thing that doesn't make money?
You have a face for radio, Jim.
Oh.
I'm just
you
kidding.
And my mom agreed.
You're stunning.
You and my mom agree, Lefty. But yeah, that was me. So just a few.
Yeah. What about you, Lefty?
I want to say just primarily like immigrant parents. That's you have to go to school, get an education, be something with your life, get a pension at 65, then die. That's like any immigrant parent, that's what they want for their child, and having the do it. And it was always in my household, it was always like, you can do this on the side. And I'm like, no, mom and dad, no, I cannot do this on the side. If I don't do it, I'm just not gonna do it. Yeah. But I didn't I didn't ever have like fear. It's weird because, I guess because I was always in front of a camera. Now, not to say that I was any good. Like I think my fear, it wasn't starting. It came from a place of like, I don't know diddly squat from a technical standpoint, where I was literally, oh God, guys, oh, I can't believe I'm about to say this. I was shooting my videos on auto. I'm gonna barf. No, but like, the truth is it was a technical aspect, and I looked up to guys like Peter McKinnon, Mark Bone, Casey Neistat, Peter Lindgren, all the big like YouTube superstars. And I was just thinking to myself, like, oh man, like if these guys ever saw my videos, I can only imagine like what they would say to my face and what they would say behind my back.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I when it comes to, I had a compliment come in today, and they were just like, your stage presence is like, wow. And I don't ever think of my stage presence like that. I just do what I have to do. But I think one thing that people tend to forget sometimes is it was 15 years of practice.
Exactly.
Remember, I was on a stage. I was on a stage week in and week out performing for people. Sometimes I was performing for 30 people. Sometimes I was performing for 1,000. Sometimes I was performing for 5,000. Right?
Sometimes you kept your clothes on.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes. but it came like, I hit a stage DJing when I was 15 years old. Like they snagged me young. My God, those nightclub promoters, those were the true child traffickers back then. They were just like, you're 15, you're a promoter, you're a DJ, you're this, you're that. But I mean, yeah, I think the biggest fear was just technical. Like, oh my God, I don't know nothing about nothing. I'm not a fraud, but I always had this thing of like wanting to like look as perfect as possible. And even still, sometimes I will look at a beautiful studio space like this that I just created over the summer and be like, this is going to be crap at one point in my career.
But it's like, what I'm hearing from that is that judgment, comparing yourselves to others who are way further along in their journey than you are, but also recognizing that you have a unique spot in your journey to highlight where you are, what you've learned.
Yeah.
So someone who's just a couple steps behind you, you're speaking their language. You can be the guide for that person.
I love what you said there, because I think that was actually the biggest one for me, is comparison.
Yeah.
That was probably the biggest one for me. And then next in line would be, what will people think?
Yeah.
You know, and that's such a vague thing, but it was a genuine fear of mine at the time.
Yeah.
But like, now that I look back,
I had that same fear. Yeah, I had that
comparison
same fear. And I switched it. I switched what I was telling myself in my brain. And instead of comparing myself to those who I really looked up to, I started saying, I want to be part of that squad, because I want more people to feel like they can be part of that squad. So I'm going to be that bridge. I'm going to be that arm between these perfect people, in my eyes, who I see as perfect. And let's bring up those next people. Let's be that space in between. Show them how to do that. Show them how to live in that space on that journey. But it's all about the way that you frame it for yourself. So let's move on. Part 2. How do we get over all of these fears? Well, we first do that little mind check, and then we practice. This is part of the technical aspect of this. Okay. Practice. Do all of the things ahead of time. So preparation, important. I'm going to give you 3 tips. First, do your research and know your content, because this way, when you start talking in front of the camera, if you're going to ad lib it, maybe you have just a little point form outline like I do here, and you're just going to fill in the blanks. Maybe you have an actual script you're reading off of a teleprompter. Maybe you're trying to memorize and recite something. I don't know. You might be one of those people. But if you know your content ahead of time, you do the research, you immerse yourself in that information, you're going to be able to provide more value. If you just start recording and say, okay, now I'm going to do one of those great YouTube video essays, record, go. Hi guys. Yeah, you're not going to create engaging content. You're not going to be engaging, and you're going to continue to live in that fear space with all of that judgment. You're not going to be taking steps forward. So know your content. Step number 2, practice. Know your topic inside and out. Like, know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah.
And number 3, have a structure of some sort, an outline, an idea of what that path is going to be for your content. An introduction, a topic headline, maybe you use the hamburger method. That's the great, best, simplest example. Hamburger method, the buns on top and bottom, your intro and your outro. Introduce the topic and exit the topic by just summarizing. And then you have the meat in the middle with some layers, like a good like double stack burger. You got some bacon and cheese and a burger bun in there, right? You got these 3 different topics you're talking about. You got some content in between, and then you have your outro, right? You have some sort of structure. Because if you just try and wing it, your people will hear it. It comes out in your content. If you go way back in my content, and I've kept it up there for a reason, so you can go back and see this. If you go back to the oldest videos on the Visibility Hacking channel, you will see why I am giving you these 3 tips. Because I did not do these 3 tips for a lot of my videos at the beginning. So
I feel like at some point it can come naturally, but
absolutely. But at the beginning, when you're in that space of looking for camera confidence in the beginning.
Oh, sure.
Having these.
Ladies and gents, don't feel like you're just going to be practicing and reading and memorizing scripts forever. I mean, unless you absolutely really want to. I still do it. I write out all my YouTube scripts and I just make it, I make it funny. I make it whatever it is for the topic, but it will get easier. That's the big one. It will get easier as you come along this.
And as you learn
journey.
More storytelling structures and different frameworks for different aspects, if you're selling from stage, if you're trying to get emotional connection, Lefty and I have this wonderful deck of cards that helps us do that very well. We can talk about that in another day. But there's different ways that you can put in different frameworks for different reasons, but that is a story for another day.
Yes.
Let's talk about rehearsal. Why should we rehearse? Oh, let me tell you the reasons. It can help you save money and time. If you're getting a videographer and stuff and you're spending your time rehearsing and getting to know your content while your videographer's waiting for you to film, not going to work very well. If Jim had hummed and hawed and didn't really know what he wanted to say for that Muppets video even, it would have cost him way more money because he would have had to keep getting re-edits and re-edits and re-edits. So if money is not your motivator, well, it will reduce your nervousness. It helps you refine your voice and your presentation. It makes sure that your content makes sense from start to finish. You're not trailing off and ending in some completely different place. It makes you more creative. It helps you fill in the blanks. It helps you understand that there is sometimes the equipment you have that you're using sometimes doesn't work. Like maybe when I went to record some stuff last weekend, I recorded it and then I went to edit it this morning. Yeah, my microphone wasn't on for the entire thing.
Yes.
I wasn't paying attention. It actually was on for a little bit, and then I moved, and my microphone unclipped, and it turned off.
Detail.
I honestly think I want to start handing out awards for the biggest screw-ups. Molly, the reason why I was laughing when you were talking is because I'm reading this, but the way I'm reading it is like rehearsing may cost, save time and money, reduce mistakes. Like one of those like pill commercials. Like,
Oh my goodness, that would be a great ad.
and I just started reading it like that in my head, and I was dying.
It may reduce mistakes. It may enhance your confidence. It may improve your timing, familiarity with your equipment, and ensure continuity. Make sure that you speak to your.
But they like 3x speed when they're
Yeah,
saying all the symptoms, so it's just so funny.
Oh, I love it. So, is that enough reasons for you? Rehearsal can be as simple as you write through your script or as you're picking out your bullet points. You're reading through it. You're giving it a little bit of a flow. Or it can be a full-blown dress rehearsal. And let me tell you, if you have other people that you have on your show, for example, or you're creating a piece of content with other people, what we can do is have a little bit of continuity between the people. Here on the show, we always have some sort of head-to-head little powwow before we press or go live, because we want to make sure that, yeah, we're all on the same page. We know what we're talking about. Cool, let's go. Everything in this rehearsals so important. So let's get to our first action step of the night. Let's put all of this into practice. So you can do this in one of two ways. First, you can take on, I watch a lot of Amazing Race these days, and I'm loving all these like different challenges they have. So I'm giving you two options. I don't know. This is a roadblock or something. I don't know. So option one, mirror, mirror. You are going to take your next presentation and you are going to say it in front of the mirror so you can see yourself. You don't have to press record. But this way, no one else will see it, just you in front of the mirror. This way, you can see what your body language looks like. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. You can see what your facial expressions are. You can see and hear what it's going to be like to go through and have that presentation. Second way that you can do this is to literally press record and do a practice run of your talk or your presentation. Fantastic. If you do that, keep a hold of it, because I'll tell you what to do with it later. So I want you to go do that. You're going to create a little bit. Let's start with a 1-minute little presentation. Talk about something about yourself. Introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, where you from. Those would be great things to do.
Can't do option one. Nope. Option one's not for me. I'd get distracted.
True. Oh, Jason Momoa, I'm so handsome.
Oh my God. Look at, oh my.
Oh. And if you want to take this to the next level, I'm going to invite you to take on this challenge first.
Oh, that's a good one.
Is I want you to reach out in the visibility hacking community, write a post. We're going to allow all of these posts for the next little week or so. I want you to ask for a partner. I want you to reach out. I want you to find a partner. If you're having trouble finding a partner, I want you to reach out to one of us and we will help you find a partner, or heck, we might be your partner.
Oh, baby.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because even we like to do our practice runs. And what I want you to do is practice a 2-minute talk. I want you to put something together. Oh, it doesn't matter what topic it is. You can introduce yourself and your business, introduce yourself and your movement, all of that kind of stuff. Jay Lee's going to do it too, I bet. He's great at it. He's great. And he also gives great feedback. So you might want to be partnered up with him. Just saying.
Absolutely.
And then once you've prepared this talk, I want you to film it. I want you to put it on video, and I want you to send it to your partner or go live with each other. Get a Zoom together. I want you to make new friends. I want you to listen to your partner's talk. Once you've each had an opportunity to share, I want you to give each other constructive feedback.
I literally send Jim all my YouTube videos. Even though they're already posted and uploaded and out for the world to see, he sees everything all the time.
Yeah. So I want you guys to do that. You're going to do that? Jay, you're going to do that? I see you in the comments there.
We're watching you, Jay. You going to do it?
If you're lucky, you might get Jay as your partner.
Ooh, pick me.
I think he's picking you.
Jay.
Jay,
thanks,
I'm putting you with Lefty.
Thank you. Yes, he didn't see the haircut. I was in his class the other day, but unfortunately I had to keep my camera off. So thank you for the compliments. 100% Viking style. Boom, boom, partners, let's go.
And a trimmed up beard, by the way, from his most recent video.
Yes, I had to. It's sad. I had to trim it to play a character, but it's coming back. If you guys want to see that video that Jim's referring to, you can go over to getlefty to FHL.com and watch that video. You'll be quite intrigued.
Awesome.
I love it. I love it. It's perfect segue to part 4, which is mastering those technical aspects. So we heard Lefty talk earlier about how when he was starting out his journey, he was comparing himself to cinematographers who were breathtaking in their skills. Some people who were and still are some of the biggest creators in the space.
With an entire career of experience.
Exactly. But what we didn't tell you is that Lefty has learned so much in his journey that we're actually going to use some of that. We're going to pick. I can pick from your brain. Ooh, here we go. We're gonna pick out some info for you from Lefty's brain. So when we're talking about the technical aspects of setting up your first video, I really just want to simplify it as much as possible. We're in a no barriers to entry kind of mindset right now. So let's break it down into 3 very simple areas. First, lighting. Lefty did a fantastic piece of homework for me. He gave me 2 different examples here. So Lefty, I want you to explain, why is this bad lighting? What makes it good lighting? What did you do? And how can people do that at home?
Okay, well, first off, the bad lighting one, I'm a little disappointed in it. I wanted to make it much worse than what it was. But here's the thing with the first picture. A lot of people just kind of find where they can shoot and that's it. First mistake from picture 1, make sure that the light is always in front of you or to the side of you. Never have it behind you, because you see this halation effect that it's like a halo halation. That's what they call it in the film industry. But you see this halo that's happening around me that's giving me this weird, awkward glow. And I mean, this obviously could have happened because of my iPhone, but I look super desaturated. I don't know. It looks almost sickly and gray, in my opinion. Then when you go into, and then what I did with this as well, because I do also have a window in front of me. So when you're in an area with a lot of windows, you can literally get like blackout curtains on Amazon for like $30. And they're not even like true curtains. They're just like things that you can like clip and stick on your window. So just like completely black out the entire room. In this instance, for the good lighting, if you don't want to shop on Amazon or spend any money, I literally put a pillow on my window. I put a pillow on my windowsill, and it is a long window, so I didn't have like 2 or 3 pillows to put, but I covered the area in which the sun was the harshest. And then I went ahead and turned on my key light, which is lighting me right now. And I'll even show you guys what this looks like. It's my big, beautiful baby right here. You don't have to go as extravagant as I did with it, but I mean, I use it for other projects. Jay is familiar with this setup for sure. So what you want to do is, 1, you want to get a light for good lighting. 2, you want to make sure that your room is not bleeding any other light. Yes, there's a light behind me, but that is okay. I'm going to get to that in a moment. So first, the light, get rid of the bleeding of any light coming into the room. 3rd, you want to make sure that your light has some sort of soft box or some sort of like material that you can cover the light, which will make the skin tones even. Also, when you put it on a 45-ish degree angle, you get this beautiful shadowing that you see, depending on how you're looking at it, on the right or left side of my face. So you have an even contrast, as you can even look at me right now, how the light's coming through. It's giving like a gradient to my face, which is what you want, which is what we know as cinematic. So in this instance, why is the light behind me in the bad lighting example so terrible, and why is it beautifully lit with even detail in the window in the good lighting? Well, that's because I have a key light in front of me that's actually meant to light me up as the subject, and then the backlight is actually used as a hair light now, and that is why you see.
So you're saying that the window isn't the main lighting for the whole scene. It's just lighting the background and a little highlight on the side of your head to define you differently.
Correct.
But you actually have a light source that you control that's just a little bit like 45-degree angle from you to get those nice shadows.
Correct.
And that's it.
The easiest way to do it is a 2-point lighting system. You can go as crazy as a 3-point lighting system, but it's not necessary. And if you want to experiment and get even like crazier shadows, I would put up like a black curtain on the opposite side of my light, because if we don't already know this, white attracts, black absorbs. So that way, when the light hits the black curtain, it's going to make even harsher shadows on your face, which will give you an even more 3-dimensional look, because we are 3D people. We're not 2D. So we want the features to stick out. That's it.
Huh. Fabulous.
Yeah.
All right. Second thing that's important that we're going to talk about is framing. So this is where we put what we put in our frame, the angles, all of that stuff. And all right, are you guys ready for this one? We got some examples. For you. So in the bad framing area at the bottom, you can see these great pictures I did. I went really close up, like so close up. You can probably hear my eyelashes flickering at that side. And there's also a photo where you can pretty much see what's up my nose. These are not good framing. Even though you want to have that you want people to see your face, you don't want your face to be all that's in the frame. So tell us, Lefty, about the bad framing options that we have on here that you did for us.
Yeah, so the first image to the left, or I'm a little bit off to the side. If you are ever going to be on the side of an image, which is using what's called the rule of thirds, you want to make sure that you're definitely not shooting in vertical. You want to make sure that you're only ever doing this horizontal. And if you are going to use the rule of thirds, you want to make sure that the camera is not straight on and it's actually at a 45-degree angle and you're still looking straight. That way we can kind of get a little glimpse of what's happening in front of you or behind you or beside you, but you're not making up entirely the image, which, gives it that contrast between A roll 1, A roll 2. Now, why is a second one bad framing? I mean, I'm dead center. I look good. The lighting is great. I don't see a problem. Here's what the problem is. Every platform requires different formats.
Yeah.
So the problem here is if I have to go into almost a 1-to-1 or 1-to-2 aspect ratio for my Facebook ads, if I try to punch in there, I got nowhere to go. Mm-hmm. Then I'm looking like Molly with my face right up to everybody. But the last option, the good framing, I can zoom in a bit, I can zoom out, I can crop probably maybe not 6 ways till Sunday, maybe 4 ways till Sunday, but I at least have options depending on where this video of mine is going to go. Is it going to be in a story? Is it going to be on LinkedIn? Is it going to be TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook? Is it going to be an ad? So I have options. Now, you also don't want to shoot so far away without having an external recording device, because right now I'm sure you can tell I'm pretty far away from my camera, but my microphone is super close to me. I'm also a loud guy, so I do keep a little bit of distance. But if I wanted to take this and crop it in and use it for whatever I wanted to, I have all the flexibility in the world to do that. At the same time, if you are shooting with your iPhone or Android, which I'm sure the majority of you probably are, if I was to put my iPhone 6 feet away from me without a recording device, I'm literally sweating, praying to God that my audio is going to get picked up by my phone. And worst of all, the iPhone or the Android is going to also pick up every other tone and sound in the room with it because of the distance you are from the phone.
But we'll talk about sound in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one little trick for those of you who are like, this was like drinking from a fire hose, so much information. Okay, this is when it comes to good framing, I have a very simple tip. I want you to, if you're doing it on your phone or whatever, take your picture, figure out what you look like from the distance you're going to set it up, and then literally look at the picture. And you could do it here with Lefty. You make sure that there's one thumb distance above your head and just a little bit wider than one thumb at the very minimum on your cheeks. And it should be at like 3 fingers at least for your body. But if you only going to remember one thing, at least it's one thumb above your head to make sure that you're not in too close and you're not way too far away. Okay? That's
or
my
cutting your head off.
Or cutting your head off.
Yes. Only if you're filming a movie, you could be at the forehead. But
exactly.
If you're not filming a movie, we want to see all of this.
And we can always crop in when we're editing to get that effect if you want that effect, but we want to have a little bit more space to work with. And the third part of our little technical triad is sound. We can literally talk about sound for a year. You can make your entire channel just about sound. So we'll make it very, very quick. I want you to think about, or Lefty, what would the one tip you have for people who are recording off of their iPhones or their Androids? They're doing that first video and they want the best quality sound now. We're not ordering new equipment. We're just doing it now. How do we put ourselves in an environment that can help us get that best sound?
Yeah, I would always do a clap test and listen for the sounds that are in the room. So first things first, what I do when I've got into a space, I've obviously am filling this up, so it's not a big problem anymore. But the first thing that I do is I walk into a room and I listen to everything around me. If you live on like a busy street, your family room, if it faces the street, is probably not the best place to film because all you're going to hear is the noise pollution from the road when you know what I mean? So it's
actually just Lefty outside.
It's just me. It's just me with like a boombox, and I'm like,
with a boombox. Joe Cusack style.
But yeah, so listen to the room, like everything, like even right now when I'm presenting here, I'm talking here, I hear my furnace going off, and I'm just like, what can I do to dampen that even more, right? So listen to everything. Once you listen to everything, you want to do what I like to call is a clap test, right? So if I clap, it's somewhat flat. It's not the flattest sound in the world, but if you were to walk into a room that doesn't have a lot of stuff, doesn't have a lot of things going on, or if you're like in a bathroom or wherever, you're going to get reverb, you're going to get echo, you're going to get all these weird sounds that you really don't want in your audio. So what you could do, I don't know. I mean, this is probably a tip for the ladies, because I feel like women would have this over men. I know my wife loves the weighted blankets from Hush. Like, I would probably set those bad boys up, or depending on how muscular your husbands are, I would definitely get them to hold up those 35-pound beauties and just record, because when you're talking into the camera, all that sound is just going to get trapped in that blanket, and you're literally A-okay, good to go.
That's a wonderful tip. I like that. I also find that if you just bring pillows into your space,
that too,
or any kind of comforters, things like that. If you have a hardwood floor, I redid my floors last year, and that was the first thing I noticed, going from carpet to hardwood. So I just started laying out blankets and things like that. Totally changed the dynamic as well. So keep that in mind, my friends. Don't tell us we didn't teach you that. So let's talk about body language.
Baby,
body language. Again, something we can talk about for years, but here's some little tips. Think about your posture. If you're sitting there, like,
I shouldn't record like this, Molly, is what you're saying? Hey,
you can, if that's part of your brand, you know. But for the most part, if we want to attract people, we want to sit up nicely. We want to have that nice posture. Believe me, again, I leave it up, not to embarrass myself, but as a teaching tool for you. Go through some of the old videos on the Visibility Hacking channel. You can see moments where I gave up. You can see where I got burnt out. And I just start slouching. I just start, and you can hear it in my voice because of that. So, but then when I get excited and I step up a little bit, I sit up nicely, I have some nice posture, I actually can get my voice louder. I can be more enthusiastic. I can move around a little bit more. I can be more engaging. It also comes across emotionally. If you're doing this, if you have that crossed, closed body language, people are not going to be as attracted to you as if you're standing up, as if you feel confident. They're not going to build that same level of authority in you. You're not going to build that same level of trust, because you're just not sending the right signal. So posture, super simple, super quick. And then also pay attention to your facial expressions, my friends. Let's be grumpy. Let's be, again, doesn't send the right message. Have you guys seen the TikTok meme that's going around where it's a lady's voice saying, you have to do these things to be attractive to men. You have to start with wearing your hair down. And what's happening is women are creating videos to this sound. And so women should wear their hair down. Instantly goes to a picture of the woman with her hair up. You must make sure that you wear form-fitting clothes and show off the waist. Instantly goes to women in track pants and sweatshirts. You must make sure that you wear delicate footwear and heels. And everyone's wearing like Uggs. It's just fantastic. But the end of it is you must have a pleasant facial expression. And everyone's reactions are hilarious. These ugly, silly faces that they're making is just great. But that is satire. That is satire. When you are creating content where you legitimately want to engage with people, you want to have facial expressions that do that. You want to trigger all of those psychological triggers that happen when we make eye contact with people. We want to look in that camera. We don't just want to look all around. You don't just want to look at Jim and his fabulous beard. I could just stare into that all night.
Mesmerizing. I'm drawing
that's
me
good
in.
for me, but it's not going to be of any benefit.
I want to smell it. I want to smell it. Oh, Jim, yes.
That might be fun for us, but it's not it's not as engaging as when we're looking into the camera and we're talking passionately to you at home. I see you there. Comment, let me know, let's chat. But we want to pay attention to our facial expressions, and a lot of us get into the unfortunate habit of looking at ourselves when we're recording ourselves on camera. And so this is me looking at myself, and yeah, I'm obviously looking at myself. I'm not looking at the camera. This is not nearly as engaging. So for those of you who feel yourself getting into that because you want to see yourself, you want to check to make sure you look all right, I recommend going back earlier in tonight's talk. We talked about doing a preview run, a practice run of your video. I recommend doing that. If you're really focused on your facial expressions, doing the mirror option is a great one. Just talking in front of the mirror where it's best for you to look yourself in the eyes. So when you get to standing in front of the camera, you're not worried about what you look like. You're now focused on that person on the other side of that camera. So those are my tips for you. Now, this is where I got to talk to Jim. I got questions for Jim. So
Jimmy,
here we go. We're going to talk about dealing with mistakes because we have all experienced mistakes. And that's what stops a lot of people. They reach a mistake, they stumble, they forget a word, they mispronounce something. I mispronounce things all the time. I'm thinking too fast and I merge two words together and it makes absolutely no sense. But what you do in that moment and after that moment, that's what matters, not the mistake itself. Mistakes happen. Mistakes happen. Mistakes are normal. Mistakes are expected. Be like Jim.
I have about 80% of a YouTube video where I'm completely out of focus, and I call myself out to all of you in a little subtitle that I am out of focus, and I know, and I don't care.
And I love that you bring that up because, well, one of the greatest things about recording videos is you can choose to edit it. If it's live, just move on. You can edit it later. Or you could just move on and no one's going to notice or no one's going to care. So there are so many things you can do when you have mistakes. But I want you to keep Jim's advice in mind. Fail fast.
I want to hear this.
If you need to take a screenshot of this and have it as your lock screen, if you need the daily reminder,
I feel sorry for you if you do it, but you'll remember.
I think I'm going to do it.
I'm taking this face and I'm making stickers out of it.
Do you know where this face is from, Jim?
That might have been when I got the thing behind me.
Nope. This is the first and only photo that Jim and I took together in the same physical space.
FHL, when we met.
Like
for the
15 minutes after we met. That's our happy face.
That is the happy face.
So I want to introduce
speaking of mistakes.
No. So I want to introduce you to a phrase. When I was a kid, everyone wore those little WWJD bracelets. So I want to reintroduce this concept, but it's WWJBD. What would Jim Beard do? That's what I want you to think about in those moments. What would Jim Beard do? If he was in X's and O's, if I was in that first episode and I was Jim Beard and everything went crazy, we've all heard the story, right? Everything went wrong.
A lot of
but he kept going. That became the catalyst to the entire thing that started Jim's whole career. X's and O's. It was an absolute disaster. But it kept going.
It's true. It's true.
And that is the coolest thing. So, Jim, my question to you is, what advice do you have for people when they're trying to recover in the moment? They have a mistake. They realize it. Something's going wrong. What's your advice for not panicking in that moment and making the best of it?
Yeah, and I have a lot of experience in this department. So real quick, obviously when I was doing X's and O's, I was using technology I didn't know. I was working with people I'd never met before, and I was trying to grow an audience, which I'd never done before. So everything was a big question mark across the board. And I was like, sounds like a good idea. Ship it, send it. And so I did, and there was a lot of mistakes that I made. Okay. So it would be, I'd ask the same trivia question twice. I would introduce the same person twice. I would forget to introduce somebody. I would forget to even say someone's name, or I'd forget that there was an X in a square or an O in a square. I would forget a lot because I was DJing, and for Lefty there, I used one of his terms.
Yeah.
That's from your people. And so I would DJ all these different tasks that I was doing at the same time. I was reviewing the trivia, going through, making sure I wasn't asking people junk. I was managing OBS Studio, making sure that what was being output still looked good. I was managing the Facebook Live, which is the final output, making sure that that looked good. So that was another window. And then I was also managing the Zoom call, which was where everyone had joined the call for me to take video captures from. And so I'm doing all of this and also trying to be vaguely entertaining. Juggle, 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 dance, dance, dance. And so, and remembering where we're at in the game. Okay, you got an X. I have to physically put X over that person's face so that there's an X. And sometimes I'd throw an O there. Like I would just forget to do it all together. And they'd be like, I won. And I'd be like, no, you didn't. Stop lying. And they'd be like, no, I did. But I did, though. And then everyone else would be like, yeah, you won.
Yeah, you did.
I'd be like, oh, congratulations. Oh, my God. And I'd throw up. I'd hit the confetti button and all the horns and everything and be like, oh, you won. Congratulations. But before that, I was like, just keep moving. Just keep swimming. So when those moments happen, and they happen in this show, too, where we make a mistake, we stutter, mutter, ums, and things like that. What do we do? What did I do? What I did back then and what I still carry to now is I try to avoid the spiral. And that is to where you're thinking very quickly, but you're not on track. So those two things are contrarian to each other.
Yeah.
And so you're continually fighting with yourself live on video, trying to figure out what to say. And when you do that, you go, and then you start beating yourself up because it's been too long now, and it's been too long. So now you start that, and it's like, oh
my God,
and it just goes and it spirals. So instead, what I've implemented, and what I implemented probably at episode 2 or 3, I caught on to this very quickly. I just stop. I stop for a minute. I take my moment, and then I come back in. I take that little moment to collect myself, which is fractional, versus doing an spiral, which could be for minutes on end. And in radio, they call that dead air, which is you lost everybody. They're off doing something else. They left. So you want to make sure to avoid dead air. So just take a second, collect yourself, and you can even call it out. Sorry, got a little lost there for a second, but we're jumping back in, and then jump back in. You're human. Yeah. It's just remember that you're human and that people watching you don't hate you. They don't hate you. And that was something I convinced myself of, is that anyone that's coming on is going to hate me. And so that was another thing in my head. But once I allowed myself that moment, and then you jump back in, it's far more professional than the spiral. Yeah. So take your second. It's okay. And then come back in, because you will be on task. You will know where you're at. Maybe you even had to look at your bullet points for a second or your outline. That's okay. Take your second, jump back in. And if you're doing it to edit that right out like it never happened.
Exactly.
Now, if you do an spiral, all the spiral has to go. That whole thing. So I'd rather take out this little guy and ask Lefty. He edits all the time. I'd rather take this out than the spiral. Because in the spiral, there might have been good little bits, but I have to now try and piecemeal them together in some way. And it goes crazy. So you need to just take your moment.
Yeah.
Jump back in. Okay. So that's a big one. That was something that helped me tremendously. Okay. Because I went down spirals.
Yeah.
And the audience that's watching is like, what's happening? Does he have Tourette? Is he okay? Should I call somebody?
Yeah.
No, I'm fine. I'm just struggle busting to get myself back on task. So, number one, take your pause. Number two is definitely posture. Okay.
Yeah.
Posture just in itself not only helps with confidence, but that confidence also helps you to emote and project forward in a powerful way. And it sounds fluffy. I'll give you that. It sounds fluffy, but try it. Video yourself, just yourself, your phone, set your phone down. You're not going live or anything like that. This is just you and your phone. Set it up to video yourself. And I want you to do one video where you kind of slump down, low energy. And I want you to deliver that video. Today we're talking about this, and it's going to be like this. And or you fix your posture, shoulders up, back, down, and you project confidence. It's absolutely incredible. I want you to see the difference. Do it right after the show tonight. Set up your phone. Do one version before you do any posturing. Just the way you would normally come in, whatever energy you're at. Kind of slump in a little bit and deliver your video. And then I want you to try fixing your posture, and even standing helps tremendously. If you can stand it, this is even better. But you will see a difference. I promise you this. Huge difference. Okay. So next one in line.
I feel like I'm the person at the airport, you know, when they tell you like your bag is to the left and pull the things, I'm doing the actions for you.
Exactly. Yeah, it does kind of. And the next one, surround yourself. When you're starting out, it's great to surround yourself with others. Because what they can do is pick up that gap while you collect yourself. If that's something you're incredibly self-conscious about, is like, okay, I'm going to take my space, but when I take my space, I'm just this. So in that case, Molly, tag team.
Oh yeah,
Ooh,
totally. Absolutely. So while Jim goes and answers the cat from last week, who is busy pawing at the door, that was just a easy transition. So I picked up where he needed to deal with the dancing cat,
and then
and so on and so forth.
We tag back in. And so now I've collected myself. I know where I'm at. I'm back. Things carry on as usual. So you can do tag teaming it. On my show, I had 11 other people. Okay, 11 other people. So if I was slacking or something like that, or if I was going off into la la land, I had 11 people to be like, Earth the Gym. Earth the Gym. This is where we're at, bud. And I'd be like, oh, here we go. Got it. Back on. So that also helped tremendously, is just having other people on your show with you until you feel confident to step off on your own. If that's even something you want to pursue. There are shows that exist with multiple hosts and have done massive. So you can just go on like that if you so choose. You know, look at like a Good Morning America. That will always be with two hosts. Why is that? Because one or the other is not that great. But together, fantastic. Show that's lasted for, I mean, as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
Different faces, but always the same dynamic. And I like to refer to things that have already existed and were successful and bring them to our space. I'm a big fan of that. So if you see something you like out in the TV world or anywhere really, or in person, you can bring that here. You just have to know the tech to go with it, which is where we go into that kind of avenue, is the tech avenue. And then also like Lefty with the lights, camera, action kind of a thing, right? Lights, camera, sound. But once you have a frame, and we talk about this often, is the frame, right? So the next thing is you'll make less mistakes when you have a frame that allows for it. So when you have a frame that's playful, it encourages that. It's okay. It's carefree because that's the frame you built. So what do you mean, Jim? What the hell's a frame? Frame is, look at our show here. Molly has created these amazing slides that are wonderful to look at. And it's not just our three faces.
Nope.
Awesome. So now, and if we fall off track, we just look at the screen.
Oh yeah, that's what we're talking about.
We just look at the screen and we're right back on task. And our show is designed in a way that's fun, allows for mistakes, and allows for banter back and forth with you. So we have it built in to the frame, and it's okay. So make your frame okay. Make it okay for yours as well.
Embrace the mistake.
Embrace the mistake. Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong. There's honestly nothing wrong with creating a show in which you are the supporting act.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Right? Like, you don't always have to look at yourself as the lead role. There might be somebody, like, you might be a good connector, right? You might be a good connector of people. Like, you know how to bring this person with that person, or you know how to take one person to your show and whatever the case might be, but you might not have the greatest stage presence, right?
Yep.
So it's okay to keep bringing on lead roles on your show while you kind of just not sit back, but be the support to the leading role. And sometimes you're going to have, like, you know, two leading roles, not clash, but there's always going to be, I always feel like there's always going to be one person in the room that is like more or less 1% better. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if I don't know, to me personally, I feel like if I was in a room where I was just in a room with another me, yeah, it would be fun for somebody else, but to me, it would get boring eventually. Right? So you always want to, like, like, even with us, like you're talking about Friday Night Live, there's a dynamic. I feel like we all have our 1% extras that make us good, great, the best, the damn best. Like, I didn't even know. I was trying to keep going, but I lost words.
I dig it.
Just got a reminder from her slide: fail fast.
Fail fast.
Failure is okay. Yeah. Fail as fast as you possibly can muster.
Absolutely.
So I just used an example right there. She put it up, and I reminded myself, oh, that's the thing I say is fail faster. Because I failed as fast as I could on X's and O's. And that's what put me on a road that has led me to where I am now. Absolutely. And it helps you so tremendously when you take that weight off yourself. When you take that weight off and you say that that's not bad, that's another thing that didn't quite work. When you learn something from it. If it's a failure, there's nothing to be gained. But if you learn from it, you take those pieces and you keep adding it to your repertoire, eventually you will get success. But it wouldn't happen without those failures.
Nope.
So fail as fast as you possibly can. And don't look at them as failures. Look at them as learning steps to success.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's prove it. Let's put all of this that we talked about into practice. So what I want you to do, if you want bonus points, definitely reach out. We will get you a partner in the group and you can work on all of these exercises together, or you can just do it on your own. I want you to record a 5-minute video using all of the strategies that we learned today. Whether it's your first video or it's your first video of the day, I want you to record something 5 minutes long. I don't care what you talk about. Pick something that you're passionate about. Maybe talk about why you started your business in the first place or what you want to get out of it. Maybe tell us about a great customer experience you had recently or a transformation you've been able to be part of, something that gets you excited. You always want to start with a topic that we know and that we are really familiar with. Then I want you to post it in the Visibility Hackers Facebook group. Because remember, this week, we are letting all of these posts go public. And I want you to watch posts from others and give constructive feedback. What worked? What didn't? Maybe there was another strategy. Maybe you were super keen listening to what Lefty was saying, and that was what you wanted to focus in your video. And you're watching someone else's video who is maybe focusing on something else. Maybe remind them of, hey, you want to move your key light a little bit? Maybe your background light was a little bit too harsh. These are things that are going to help us remember and reinforce all of the strategies and the tips that we gave you tonight. We want to put them into practice. Our space, our visibility hacking group, that's our space. That's our safe space to post whatever we want on our learning journey and get that feedback from people who care about us, from people who want us to move forward, from people who get that we're creating content, not just for us and our family and friends on Facebook, but for our communities, for our target audiences, for our brands, for our movements. You can do that in our group. We'll give, all three of us will give you feedback as well, of course. So go put that into practice, my friends. And that's
Bring
what I
your
got for you tonight.
marshmallows. There'll be roasting. No, I'm kidding. I can't be that cruel.
This isn't Reddit.
I can't be that cruel to somebody who's brand new and trying. No. That's my group. If you want to get roasted, come to my Facebook group. Well,
oh my goodness. Well, my friends, that's what we got for you tonight. Camera confidence. It is literally within your reach. And if you need a reminder, let me just pull my favorite slide up for a second again. Just let me just pull this up again. Yeah. That, my friends, is your reminder for the day. I'm just going to take my screenshot of this. Need a new lock screen. Beautiful. Fail fast, guys.
fail fast.
Fail fast.
Fail fast.
Yeah. So that's it for tonight, my friends. Any last words, Lefty?
No, I'm good. Just get out there. Like, I mean, it's always week in and week out. Just get out there. Like, the faster you get out there, the faster you can fail, and the faster you can move on to the successful video career that you have, or business, or whatever it is that you're doing. But just get out there. At the end of the day, you know what? Here's the best advice I can give somebody. Even if people are watching, nobody cares. So what's stopping you?
I dig it. Jim, any last words?
As the usual, time is the most valuable resource. We appreciate that you spend it here with us. Get out there and make something awesome.
I love it. I will see you all in our next episode next Friday. Maybe let's do 8:30 next Friday. We'll see. See how we're feeling. You're going to have to stick around to find out what time we decide to be at. Just like the Muppet video. It'll be 9:30 and it'll be 10. Who knows? It's my new vibe.
Figuring it out.
I love it. So, my friends, you can also join Lefty and I Thursday mornings or on the Visibility Hackers YouTube channel. You can check the replays for the Business Building Book Club. We are still talking stories. Wired for Story. Join us for that one. And we'll see you here, same bad time, same bad channel. But I want to see all of you before that when you post your videos in the group, because we got some lovely feedback to provide. I'm going to post my videos I shot tonight in the group as well. So looking forward to your feedback as well. All right, everyone. Have a fantastic night. Have a great week and go be visible. Remember, I love you. Be excellent to each other.